Hello, and welcome to my monthly budget routine. I am so excited to be sitting down and finally doing my July budget. I know that it is a bit overdue. Like I've said before, budgeting is just such a zen time for me, and it really makes me feel like I'm getting my whole life together. I just feel centered, like it is chef's kiss. Also, I'm just really excited to be able to make a video about something that most of us have been taught is really taboo, and I just think it's important to talk about. I'm a strong believer that chatting about finances with others is a really good way to improve upon your own finances. So that is just what today's video will be. Just a girl and her new friend chatting about their budgets. And speaking of new friends, if you are new here, hello again. I'm Kayla, I'm 25. I am a travel physical therapist that is currently living in Hawaii. I post lots of lifestyle content, specifically about how I try to lead a more happy and intentional life, and personal finance content with videos like this one. So like I said, in today's video, I'll be running through my monthly budget routine, which includes going over the June budget and just seeing what that looked like expenses and income wise, and just reflecting on how I feel about that a little bit, and then also just setting up the budget for July. So let's go ahead and take a look at June. Here's my budget for June. The first thing I like to do when I'm reviewing my budget from the previous month is just take a look at my overview tab up here, because that's gonna tell me what number I ended with. My usual aim is for like $600. You definitely have to figure out what number works for you. Some people like to just zero their accounts out and go all the way down and just start fresh each month. So figure out what works for you. That being said, I know that June was a lot over 600, but I did that one on purpose because July was the first time in a long time where all of my rent was due July 1st. Oh, also, I forgot to say that my budget is a little bit different than last time I shared it. She's gotten an upgrade. I love watching other creators' personal finance content, and two of my favorite ones are Smiley Citrus and Carter Sullivan. So if you haven't checked them out, you should. I get lots of budget inspo from them. But after I go over my overview, I look down at income. So that is here, and just kind of assess if what I made is close to what I budgeted to make. June was a light month. My paychecks did not reach what they usually did for the weeks. And I know why though. Like, I took off every single Friday in June and I don't regret it. And then one week I completely did not work because I was switching. So my last travel contract was in Maryland, and then I took a week off in the middle, and now I'm doing my travel contract in Hawaii. So 1 week of not working means 1 week of not getting paid. Oh, also I got some credit card money, which is really exciting. Got some rewards. I've talked about before how I am a fan of credit cards. Like, I am team credit card. They're constantly trying to catch us slipping and make a little bit of money off of us. So I say, let's make a little bit or a lot of money off of them. My credit card income is never huge, and I never budget anything for it. So like right here, this dash, that means I budgeted 0 for credit cards because I don't know if I'll get something off of the month, but when I do, it feels really good. Miscellaneous. Also a section that's usually a 0 for me. Like, I don't usually budget for miscellaneous, but this month I knew I was gonna get my security deposit back, which is exactly $500. It was what I expected. And so yeah, that's what I got off of that. I immediately put it into the security deposit for this current place I'm in. So it didn't actually come to me. After income, I go down to my savings. I usually aim for like 40 to 50% of whatever I have in my checkings account as trying to save for that month. So I'm definitely saving pretty aggressively right now. But June, I only hit, so it's like close to 30%. And then also, oh my gosh, June is just such like a gift heavy month for me. There are so many holidays for me in June, and it bothers me every June. I'm like, I should have prepared for this in May, and I don't. We have Father's Day. It's Devin and I's anniversary. So this year we celebrated 7 years, which is really exciting. Unbelievable to say I can celebrate 7 years. Like, I am getting old. And then also Devin's birthday is in June. For his birthday, I funded our trip to Canada. So yeah, heavy hitter. I budgeted a little bit less to be in savings, and then I didn't even hit what I budgeted for, like just barely missed it. And the account that suffered from that was my emergency fund. So as you can see, I have 3 savings accounts. So I have Devin and I's joint account, which we are trying to save into pretty aggressively to try to hopefully buy a house in the future whenever we're done with all of this travel physical therapy situation. And then at the bottom, the third one right here, my long-term savings account. I don't have a 401k right now. So that's like my own version of my 401k that Devin is super helpful with. He was a finance major, works in finance now. So honestly, he pretty much runs that for me. And then there's my emergency fund. Creating financial stability outside of my 9 to 5 is really important for me. That's just the time of my life I am at right now. And so if an account has to take a hit, it's usually my emergency fund, because I'm like, there are more important things to do. Yeah, that's how savings shook out for the month of June. And then I usually take a look at my expenses up here. I separate them out into a good amount of categories. These are just the ones that I've found work best for me. So groceries, I was a lot bit under on. Pat to my back for groceries. And then eating out, that was like slightly over. Not super over. I'll take that number. Gas was less than I expected, although I upped how much I expected for gas because it just keeps going up, I feel like. Maybe it's not, maybe it's been going down, but it always feels to me like it's going up. But anyways, I budgeted for more, so I was a little bit under what I budgeted. And then medical, medical is the bane of my existence. Let me tell you, I've talked about before how I have a diagnosis of a chronic medical condition. It's called chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, CIDP. Feel free to look it up if you're interested. I don't have many of like the physical ailments from it anymore, but it's definitely left me like with residual problems. I feel like my resting dental health has changed since being diagnosed with CIDP. I don't know, anyone else with an autoimmune disorder, if you've noticed like weird symptoms that weren't supposed to come with your disorder, please let me know in the comments so that I know that I'm not the only one. But yeah, so my medical bill is because of the dentist. And let me tell you, I'm good about my dental hygiene. I've got a water pick, I've got really good mouthwash, I floss twice a day, I brush, I have these basic bites like these xylitol chews that I have. I can make a whole video about my dental health. And regardless, I often have these big dental bills because I have to go see them to fix something social. So it was another one of my friend's birthday in June. And so celebrated her a little bit. And then I told you that gifts was gonna be like out the wazoo. Unreal. I don't even wanna talk about that much because I knew it would be over. Memberships and recurring, I have a whole separate area for that over here. That number also keeps going up. At least I budgeted for it pretty well. Like I'm almost on par with how much that was supposed to be. Also, my budget number isn't quite right. I'm gonna fix that. See, these are the qualms of making your own budget. If you have a number that's wrong, you have to go in and fix it. Okay, sorry, that's fixed now. But this month I took on a phone bill. I wanted to stay on my parents' phone bill and just ride that train till the wheels fell off. But starting my own YouTube channel, having I think it was like 64 gigabytes on my last phone, it was just not doing the trick. So I knew when I got a new phone, it would mean that I took over the bill. So there you have it. I have a phone bill now. I'm a big girl. Oh, car payment. That's also a new one. Did not get a new car, but being here in Hawaii, I'm renting a car. So I knew that I would have to pay that for the month. So that's memberships and recurring. Wish the number was smaller, but nothing you can really do about like most of those bills. Rent, we're under, yay. Rent was a little bit less than I expected because I took that week off. So the week that I was living at home didn't have to pay for rent. Okay, doodads. That's way over. I don't know. I need to check. Why were my doodads so high? Oh, okay, here's what happened. So I know I'm not the only one. I've heard other people talk about this. I used to think I was the only one. But you know, when you go on like a trip, you need a whole new outfit. Like you need all new clothes and everything. And so I told you I did a couple of different trips. Like we did Niagara, we did Canada, and we did Virginia Beach. And for both of those, I was like, I need new clothes. And then when we went there, I went to the mall and I was like, let's get more new clothes. And so my doodad section, by the way, I define that as expenses that are unnecessary and that are like for me. So I don't have a health and beauty section. I don't have a clothes section, but if I'm buying like makeup and clothes for myself, it all goes in doodads. So over for the month. I'll try to work on that in July. Miscellaneous is just whatever doesn't fit into doodad, things that don't have a category that I needed. Like if my charger broke and I needed a new charger, that'd be miscellaneous because I'd be like, I need a charger, but it wasn't just like a for fun purchase. And at first, when I first started up the YouTube channel and I was buying like a mic and lights, all that was going in miscellaneous. And I was thinking, I might need a YouTube category. But I haven't bought anything in a while, so that is nice. I'm happy I didn't need that category. A new category for me, however, is this travel PT situation because I had to buy my Hawaii flight and that was not cheap. And then also needed like some new luggage and I had to pay luggage fees. I am gonna get a reimbursement for that though. So not a huge deal. It just hadn't hit by June, so that had to account for that. And then that's pretty much it for going over June. And before we look at July, something that I've recently started trying to do after reviewing the previous month is just kind of reflecting on how I feel about that month and just processing that before going into the new month so I can kind of set goals for how I want to be better into the upcoming month. The first thing that was kind of off from the month of June that I'd love to be a little bit better in July is my ending number. Like I said, I try to end my account closer to 600. So I was over on purpose, but I'd love to be able to just end with 6 and be disciplined about that because I think it's good practice for the future. Also, I knew that I wouldn't be able to save quite as much in June as I like to, just having made a little bit less and then also having it be such a gift heavy month. But in the month of July, I would love to get my savings closer to that 40% mark rather than 29. Like I said, I'm really aggressively saving right now, so I'd love to improve upon that. And then as far as expenses, there was nothing that was like glaring that I want to really change. Other than gifts, that was way more than I want. In July, there are no birthdays. It's just 4th of July, no huge holidays. So I'll definitely focus on making that gifts number lower. Just be less generous, you know, like I should be a less nice person. Jokes. But yeah, my gifts will be lower in July, I'm sure of it. And then, the other expense category that I want to get better about is doodads. It's usually not that much over, but June was exceptional. Like that was way more than I'm supposed to spend in a month. And so I want to like crack the whip on myself in that category. And that's one that I'm less forgiving about because like medical, you can't control if you have a dental problem, but doodads are on me. I can be more disciplined about that. Now that we've reflected and kind of set some intentions for how I want to move into July, I'm going to go ahead and set up my budget for July. Welcome to July. So I want to get this set up. Starting balance is right at the top. That's exactly what we ended with in June. So that's correct. So first thing I do is set up how much I think I'm gonna make, like what income I think I'll have. My first paycheck should be like a bigger one this month because I'm supposed to get my relocation bonus. And then the truth is I don't even know exactly what my paycheck is gonna be each month because right now I just know my gross pay. So like before taxes are taken out, I'm supposed to make $19.41, I think. But after taxes, I'm not quite sure. So these are really gonna be estimates. So it'll be helpful to get each of those paychecks so I know what to expect. But I'm gonna guesstimate around 15. Hopefully that's the lower end. I would love for it to be a little bit more, being that Hawaii has proven so expensive thus far. Expenses will be a little bit different this month. I already went ahead and upped the grocery number. I usually budget 500, but Hawaii groceries are like way more expensive. Eating out. Devin and I are doing something a little bit different this month where I'm gonna try to cover groceries and he'll try to cover the eating out portion. But that being said, I am gonna have some rollover into July from June expenses. So the way I work my budget, because I'm such a huge proponent of credit cards, it's really hard to have a lot of credit cards and keep your budget on track with how much money you actually have because there's so many different apps to check. So the way I do it is whenever the money hits my checking account that I have paid off a credit card, that is when I go in and actually account for it in my budget. The only exception is sometimes I'll go into my budget and like I'll scroll down here in my transaction tracker. There's not much in there right now. But if I know that I have an expense, like let's say I went to McDonald's, I'd go ahead and put eating out. Oh, oopsie, let's fix this. I'll go ahead and put eating out and then I'll put like McDonald's, and then I'll put that it was $5 if it was. And then I just gray out this whole section as a pending transaction. So that way it's not like whenever I do make that credit card payment, it's $200 or whatever, I'm not putting 20 different expenses in at one time. So that's the only exception. All of that is to say that I know that there's a little bit of money that I spent in June, like eating out money, that's gonna roll over into July because I hadn't paid off those credit cards yet. So I'm gonna budget a little bit more for the month of July for eating out. And then gas, I'm thinking Hawaii is going to be more, so I'll keep that there. Medical, I don't have any doctor's appointments. I don't have a doctor here. There's no reason to spend money on medical, so I'm going to put 0. Social, I don't have any Hawaii friends yet. If you're in Hawaii, Hilo, Hawaii, and you'd like to be my friend, please tell me. I'm going to keep $20 there in my social just in case we decide to go out. I did tell Devin I'd help him get his ears pierced this month. So that's the only gift. I'm going to count that as a gift under there. Savings, we're not sure. Memberships and recurring. Oh, that should be this budgeted number right here. Rent, it is exactly the same as my previous place, so that's correct. Doodads, I'll keep that at 200. I really hope I don't get that high, but I'm going to leave that there. Miscellaneous and travel PT, also just leaving them at 100. Now to hit savings, I'm making maybe 7 and coming into the month with like 2. So just to be conservative, we'll say 9. So I'd like to save $4,500. That would be really, really good. So I'll go down to savings here, joint account. I got $4,500 to spend. Guys, math is not my thing, but I'm gonna play around with some numbers real quick. All right, that's 3,000. Oh, everything can get the same. Yeah, okay, everything can get the same thing. I'll just keep each at 15. Last thing I need to do is input those transactions I was talking about in this transaction tracker down here, because I know that there's stuff that's rolled over from June. It'll just make me feel like I've really finished up the month of July. So I'm gonna input those really quickly. Okay, so that's everything. All the expenses I've spent so far in July put in. You can see my little actual spend chart. I'll zoom in here too. There we go. So a lot to rent right now. I got a good amount in savings, and then groceries just eats away at me every single time. But you gotta eat, right? Girls gotta eat. So that is it, my whole process for budgeting for a new month. I start by reviewing the previous month and then reflecting on that a little bit and using that to set intentions and help me prep how much I need a budget for each thing in the coming month. And then I enter in any transactions that I haven't from the previous month or that I've spent for the current month, and any pending transactions if those exist. And then, like I said, I just feel so much better because I know where my money has gone, I know where my money is supposed to go, and we are set properly for the coming month. I hope you enjoyed this video. I so appreciate you tuning in and being here for my chats and just going over my budget with me, and I will see you very, very soon with another video. Okie dokie, time for, ow! Cool. Devin, what are you doing? Don't mess with my camera. I think that was good. I think that was good.